This is Jasper. Hi, I'm Jasper. This is his Filipino blood.
Proud to be Pinoy.
And this is his skin. If you look closely, he is light-skinned. Which is good, right? Yeah, but sa kanila, hindi. Many Filipinos who have natural brown skin color suffer much teasing and bullying and would spend a lot of money and time just to get the same skin tone as mine. When I was scrolling Facebook, I came across this commercial. Pag nakita ka, ako'y nahihiya.
Nakauwi ka na pala?
I like how this commercial was shot, and it tries to tell a story about a Filipino coming back to his barangay, probably years after he left it. And may mga nagbago sa lugar na ito. To start, we got a new building being constructed, and the rest, Joel's ex and neighbors, are now light-skinned. How so?
Sino yun?
Si Ami, yung ex mo. Gulat nga ako, pinansin niya.
Well, Joel didn't recognize them, as if he was meeting these new faces for the first time. Thanks to skin bleaching products, you are now a completely different person. Ako ay light-skinned and I benefited from my skin color kasi I would get compliments about my appearance. People would tell me na mag-artista daw ako at makitas daw akong tignan. I was given the opportunity to audition para sa Going Bulilit because of the color of my skin. I would also get compliments na mukha daw akong half, a mestizo. While so far those words may sound positive to me back in the day, thinking about it right now shows an underlying problem that exists within Filipino society, which dates all the way back to centuries ago, even before white men from across the globe decided to plant their flags on our archipelago. Kaya, may kwento ako. I began to inquire with some of my friends of diverse skin colors and sexual orientations to discover the prevailing opinion on Filipino beauty standard. Maputi, light-skinned, white complexion, fair skin. This is just a small part of their full answer to the question, but without a doubt, having a lighter skin tone is an important part of the Filipino beauty standard.
The Philippines' most beautiful faces share one secret.
This is the beauty standard that the Filipino society collectively agreed that this is what Filipino beauty should look like. Bakit nga ba?
Manila has finest bay in the Far East.
Cannon tanks of the United States 8th Army press on toward Manila.
Many Filipinos assume that this is the byproduct of colonialism. They are right. But this isn't the complete story. Way before the Americans claimed the Philippines as their colony, and way before Ferdinand Magellan set foot in the archipelago, the Philippines as we know it has been already practicing a form of colorism. But first, we need to define what beauty and ugliness is, because colorism is heavily tied with it. According to Anthony Sinot's paper, beauty and ugliness are evaluated linguistically, therefore not only as physical opposites, but as moral opposites. That's why when you see someone that is considered beautiful, we say, looks good, looks great. There's a positive connotation. If we see someone that is considered ugly, we say, looks like hell, looks like my negative connotation. This is why in Disney media, the heroes, the characters that the audience should relate with are glowing, like Hercules and Mufasa, while some have skin as white as snow. And their respective villains, Hades has a bluish gray skin, Scar is darker compared to the other lions and lionesses, and the evil queen loves to wear black. With that in mind, let's go back to pre-colonial Philippines. Pre-colonial Philippines had and still have this practice of a binukod, which are young women that are secluded from society until marriage, and they are deemed to be almost as powerful as a datu. For non-Filipinos out there, a datu is the chief or the monarch of an indigenous Filipino group, and they were common in pre-colonial Philippines. Binukots are chosen at a very young age, and they are pampered, educated about their culture, but most importantly, they are protected from the sun. Yes, my Filipino friends, that magpayong ka dahil maaraw, quote from our parents, had its roots from ancient Filipinos. Our ancestors believed that they needed to protect their binukots from the sun to preserve the fairness of their skin. Because as per Zara Amarilia's paper, binukots transcend physical beauty. They were known for their radiance. They were the most beautiful, richest, and possessed the finest character. Positive connotations. That's why yung mga gumagawa ng hard labor sa labas has a darker skin tone. Kaya when I was younger, akala ko lahat ng nakikilala kong tao na may darker skin compared sa akin ay mga panay laro sa labas. Ako kasi, kahit ako light skin, para akong binukot. Never akong pinalabas ni mama sa bahay. Nasa loob lang ako, nagpo-PlayStation at nagko-computer. Even other ancient civilizations in Korea, Japan, India, and even China had their own fair share of colorism. During the Gojoseon era in Korean history, royalties would use honey to whiten their skin because flawless skin, like white jade, are preferred. For Edo, Japan, applying powder to whiten their face was a moral duty to Japanese women. The Chinese Empress Wu Zetian and other Chinese women swallowed powder pearls to achieve a white complexion because milk white skin is a symbol of beauty. And in India, white skin is considered as a mark of class and caste. Speaking of caste, during the Spanish colonization of the Philippines, ang mga Espanyol ay nag-introduce ng caste system where the Peninsulares, pure-blooded Spaniards born in Spain, were put on top. Under them are the Insulares, pure-blooded Spaniards born in the colonies. Then, ang sumunod sa kanila ay mestizos, mestizas that were Filipino mixed with either Spanish or Chinese blood, while putting the Indios, the native pure-blooded Filipinos, at the very bottom. The lower you are, the crappier your life will be because you have less rights compared sa mga tao na sa ibabaw mo. Most dark-skinned Filipinos are right here. Ang mga Espanyol naman ay naturally white at ang mga mestizo ay may halong Spanish or Chinese blood in them that gives these newborn Filipinos a chance of having a lighter skin tone compared to their pure-blooded siblings. Si Jose Rizal ay isang mestizo de sangre at Chinese mestizo. Kaya he had access to proper education and even legal human rights. And for the same reason, nakapag #travel goals win siya. Dito na rin nagsimula ang brainwashing na nangyayari para sa mga kapwa nating Pilipino na if brown ang kulay ng balat mo, isa yung marag ka ng pagiging Indio, which means you're disqualified to getting other opportunities in life dahil sa caste system na ito. This is also the start of a multi-generational wound that is still being felt today. That's why a lot of Filipinos feel the need to make their skin lighter, to be at least as the same level as the light-skinned people in this hierarchy. 333 years later, the Spaniards transferred their power over the Philippines to the United States thanks to the Mock Battle of Manila in the year 1898. The Mock Battle was agreed upon by Spain and the US forces to save their faces. Spain being not defeated by the inferior Filipino race and the US being able to save Filipinos from centuries of Spanish colonization. This propaganda continued when George Dewey, one of the US military commanders who staged the mock battle, received a hero's welcome in New York City and even became the model for a Pear soap ad by brightening the dark corners of the earth while washing off the darkness from his hand. Literal na naguhugas kamay siya dito. The ad also stated the white man's burden to civilize non-white people because they were destined by God to do so. A big example of manifest destiny. And if you look at the bottom right, it's basically an illustration of a white person giving a Filipino a whitening soap. Ouch. In order to look like me, use my soap. Hindi ko kaya American accent, sorry. This ad can also be seen from a racist perspective because we're talking about a foreign power wanting to intervene with what's happening in the Filipinos. They insisted on fixing something, and that something is the Filipinos' inability to govern its own country. These repeated actions by foreign powers solidified the idea that native Filipinos are simply at the bottom of society. Our ancestors were so used to seeing someone that has light skin as a higher power, and that having dark skin means they don't have any other larger role when it comes to governing their own country. And of course, the next in line was Imperial Japan. And while they were in control of the Philippines for just a couple of years, Filipinos saw them as another lighter-skinned race that has an overwhelming grasp upon them, contributing to the idea that Filipinos are again inferior. Ngayon, tawag natin dito ay colonial mentality, where Filipinos would think na they're not enough. Thanks to colonialism, lighter-skinned people are deemed to be not only on a higher social status, but they're more intelligent, wealthier, and more beautiful. That's why when we fast forward to the present time, we have commercials like this, and 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 this. As implied earlier, ang kulay ng mga balat natin is heavily linked with facial features and physical beauty. If narinig ng tao na maputi ka, they can easily assume na matawas ang ilong mo, straight ang buhok mo, matangkad, at probably you might have a different eye color other than black or brown. If narinig ng tao na maitim ka, they can assume na baka pango ka, kulot, at maliit. The latter being outside of the Filipino beauty standard. Kaya may phrase na kapag kulot, salot. Again, with the negative connotations. Before we move on, I just wanted to say that even though I'm light-skinned, I was still a victim of colorism. You see, I grew up with this mindset that I need to preserve this blessing na bigay sa akin ni God that I was born with. And during those days when I was in my preteens and when I was obese, I developed a lot of dark spots on my neck. Of course, family members would tell me to use whitening products para matanggal ang libag. I would get the Blue Master because I just think it looks cool. Minsan, gagamit ako ng Eskinol. And when I'm desperate, I would use just regular rubbing alcohol. But of course, hindi yun libag. And while those dark spots are not a part of my natural skin tone, people around me would associate it with something na maduming tignan, which kind of messed up with my confidence. As mentioned by Roger Lee Mendoza's study, use of skin whiteners by surveyed Philippine mestizas suggests personal dissatisfaction even with their relatively fair skin tones. Imagine mo yun, kahit consider na maputi ka, you're still under colorism's leash. Kaya may nakikita tayong mga video ng mga influencers or kahit na mga artista na pumupunta sa mga clinic para ma-retain nila ang skin tone nila. Pero gusto niyo ba malaman kung gaano kalala ang insecurity ng mga Pilipino pagdating sa kulay ng mga balat nila? Usually in commercials, companies will display a problem and a solution to sell their products. However, when it comes to marketing whitening products, gaya ng Belo, Dove, Olay, Silka, and others, they don't need to display the problem. They immediately show you the solution and the results. The whitening industry takes advantage of the insecurities of both dark-skinned Filipinos who wants to get their skin lighter and the light-skinned Filipinos who want to maintain their light skin. The indirect message here is, if you want to be on their level, to be with celebrities, to be on TV, and to have this kind of opportunity, you need to look like them. Kaya sabi ni Mendoza, skin whitening is generally considered by Filipinos as a long-term social and economic investment. The sad thing about these whitening products is that a lot of them are banned in major pharmacy stores in the Philippines.
Back at the Eco Waste headquarters, I'm about to find out just how much risk there is.
Why are you putting gloves on?
Because since this product has a chemical, so we don't want to expose.
Pero you can get them in third-party stores like in a sari-sari store just around the corner. These banned whitening products contain harmful ingredients and hidden mercury content that can lead to mercury poisoning. And the scary thing about these banned products is that they're affordable, which attracts low-income Filipinos into buying them, which is 90% of the Philippine population. So when it comes to representation in Philippine media, Filipinos in their natural skin tone would always be either the butt of the joke or a problem that the main character should overcome by the end of the story. In Star Cinema's Girl, Boy, Bakla, Tomboy, Kiray Celis plays a character that for some reason has black makeup all over her face with an exaggerated curly hair. For a comedy movie that's being starred by a comedian, ABS-CBN Film Productions and Viva Films had the need to add another comedic character in the form of someone who looks like this. There were several scenes with her where instead of the audience are laughing with her, the audience is instead laughing at her.
Bakit ako?
Uy, ano ka ba? Kailangan ko dugo ng tao, hindi tinta ng pusit.
And her name? Snow White. They added her character in the movie not because she is essential to the story, but because she's an easy target due to her physical appearance. We Filipinos are guilty of this. I too had my own fair share of teasing and bullying my darker skinned friends because it's funny and somewhat encouraged. It was easy for me to bully them because it felt natural, and there were already too many scenarios where my other friends would target the same group of dark-skinned people. It's difficult to grow up in an environment where it's a must to conform to beauty features that isn't even ours to begin with. As of the making of this video, this is the year 2023, and we are still getting commercials like this. This video got 1 million views and it only gained 2 dislikes out of 112 likes. Sa Facebook post naman nila, a lot of comments were positive. However, this is also 2023, and with the internet being accessible to everyone, people are also realizing that it's okay to love the skin you're born with. Given that we've been colonized several times, modern-day Philippines is now a melting pot of diverse Filipino beauty. Many Filipinos display indigenous features. Others would have features that are leaning towards Caucasian, and some would also display East Asian features. All are equally beautiful. New Facebook pages, websites, and social media posts are being published that promote all kinds of Filipino beauty every day. And from the same circle I talk with, they also mentioned that Filipinos with natural brown skin are as beautiful as light-skinned ones. People are starting to realize that each and every Filipino is unique in their own ways, and the definition of beauty is moving away from one's physical appearance to how one person carries themselves within the world. Filipinos lived for centuries not seeing how beautiful their skin are. And right now, there's just a lot of people that are still suffering from this multi-generational wound. However, with the new Filipino beauty movement that has been happening since the past few years, we can fight this. We need to be vocal. We need to get involved in uncomfortable discussions with friends and families. We need to voice out our concerns in social media and let the whitening industry and Philippine media hear them. And we need to make every other Filipino aware of this internal oppression that has been traumatizing our society for the past hundreds of years. With it being a multi-generational wound, the cure for this is also going to be multi-generational. And I'm happy that we're already taking actions now. That's why, my Filipino friends, the very essence of you is more than enough to display your beauty. Because beauty cannot be measured by one's skin color.